mic stays warm. Hosted by the dad with lots of charm. Insights are sharp and data's tight. The lens already and the jokes online. Hot takes, real talk, keeping it true. High school host, the podcast cues, live a little, learn a lot. Turn it up. When life gets real, the mic stays warm. Hosted by the dad with lots of charm. Insights are sharp and data's tight. The lens already and the jokes online. Hot takes, real talk, keeping it true. From the high school host, the podcast cues, live a little, learn a lot. Turn it up, the show is hot. Grab your coffee and let's get into it. No filter, no fluff, just real talk. Let's do it. Ready or not, here we go. It's time for Muffman to start the
Morning. How we all doing today?
I'm doing good. How are we doing today?
I'm doing good. I have a situation where it's an interesting week because we're trying to do different things here. And today, after we get out here, I have the Kaleidoscope Art Market. It's Krampus Fest.
Wow.
And it's one of those things where I'm hoping we can get over there and things are looking good for us. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping it's one of those things that as we're moving on today, I got that in the back of my mind. And I'm going to be running it, doing the show, and it's going to be pretty cool for me. So I'm pretty happy with that. What about you? Do you have anything going on?
No, not really. I ended school, so I'm on break now.
Yeah, finals next week.
Well, but I meant like I don't go to class.
Well, okay. And what have you? What do you have left to take? Your final exams?
All of them, chemistry, and just chemistry and engineering design. That's it.
Chemistry and engineering design. So you only have 2.
Yes.
And the rest you already taken?
Yes.
That's really cool.
Well, I didn't have them, but yeah.
Well, you had to have some kind of a final, didn't you?
A practice quiz, maybe, but that was
It was a practice quiz. You're practicing for something.
No, that was our final. Workshop was our final. Oh,
Okay.
a lab. My lab. I forgot about that.
All right.
But I just have engineering design and chemistry.
All right, on. And do you have your schedule for next month or next semester already?
Yep.
How's that going to go look like?
I'm gonna have a gap from like noon. I forgot what the gap was, but I'm gonna stay from like Tuesday and Thursday till like 6 or 5.
Wow. That's going to tend you off with that class, huh?
Yeah, because we couldn't do it this semester because it wasn't showing up as a class yet.
Oh, is that the one?
Yes.
Okay, and have you looked to see if there's any more sections on it?
Nope.
No more sections?
Well, I haven't checked.
Oh, you haven't checked. Okay. Because you can still change that. But one thing you have to do over the holiday break, and this goes to all students that are out there that are listening to us right now, is the career center at your school is something you really need to go look at. At UTEP, for example, they have a chance for you to make headshots. Do you know what headshots are, Connor?
Nope.
Have you ever seen an artist? He autographs his picture. That's his headshot.
Oh.
Why do you want that? You want to get a professional picture on your LinkedIn profile. You want to get a professional picture on your resume, so when they see a resume, they know who you are. That kind of stuff. You don't want to just have a AI generated image like I do.
Mm.
I don't need to look for a job, so I'm good with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But go to your career center, get the headshot, look at all the resources you have available to you, and you can also search for internships. Now, I'm not talking about working in the Christmas vacation. Nobody works on Christmas. I'm talking about for next summer. Why do you want to do that now? Because if you do it now, You get ahead of all the other people that wait until April or May to start looking. They have a better chance of doing some kind of an internship in whatever you want to do. And the earlier, what's the one thing I tell you about college? You want to network, right? You want to get in there and you want to network. You want to be able to go show people who you are, what do you offer, and give them a chance to get to know you. And once you get to do that, you can definitely do much better with everything overall. Would you agree with me on that one?
I agree.
So getting ahead is one of those things that we really, really need to look at, you know. And it's funny because we talk about the whole prepping for college and everything. No one ever talks about looking for internships. You don't find that anywhere, really. You know, your career centers is a place to go. They will also help you with career exploration. Do you remember episode 11? We did the career interest game. They will help you explore your career, see what you think would be good. It's one of those things that you never know what you want to do until you actually try it. So it's one of those things that you just need to try it before you do anything. When you go to your career center, talk to your career counselors. It's in your case, it's in West 103 Union Building. That's the big white building.
No,
No,
Union or University?
Union Building.
That's not the big white building, but
Okay,
that's University. Union's a union.
right. The Union Building is the union.
Yeah, but you're saying it's a big white building. That's not.
It is.
Not.
What color is it?
Look at it. But
Okay, when you're going up Cardiac Hill and you come down Cardiac Hill, the building you're looking in front of you is the student union, right?
I don't go to Cardiac Hill. I don't. No. No.
Not the tower. I'm talking about the one.
The tower, the big white tall building.
No, I'm talking about the one that's
that's the
union,
big white tall
the
building.
union.
But that's the big white tall building.
Right. That's not
And
the
besides,
union.
the union's on the other side of the campus from Cardiac Hill.
It's not, Connor. The union is a big white building.
No, it's not. The university's a big white building.
Where's the cafeteria at? What building?
The union.
And what color is that?
I don't look at the color.
It's a big white building. Anyway.
Oh, okay. No, it's not, but all right, if you say so.
On the break, I'm going to have him come on camera and be like, you're right.
I'm not.
Murphman was right.
No.
Yeah, you're going to do that. Well, anyway, that's what we got going on today. It's one of those things that when you ask yourself, what are we going to be doing today? That's one question you want to ask. Before we do that, let's talk about the episode.
The Playbook for Peace. Welcome to Hot Takes with the Murph Man. Today we're talking about the Roommate Handbook. It's a crash course in communication, compromise, and conflict resolution, all without leaving your bedroom. This episode provides the essential playbook for navigating this new relationship successfully and achieving peak dorm harmony. Murph Man, have you ever had roommates?
I have had some roommates, Connor. It's in the Army, I had 20 roommates in one room. Or up to 40 in some cases, depends on where I was. But I've never had like an actual roommate, like aside from you and my brothers. We live in a house. That's a little different.
And your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm talking about like roommates would be you and my brother right now.
Well, right now, yes.
Right.
But
so one thing that I like to do is I sleep in my underwear, right? And when friends come over to visit, like the other night, we had our niece come over, right? She had to come to the bedroom and say hi to me. Why? Look, I was covered up, but that's not the point. I don't like having people around when I'm like relaxing. I don't want to have to go put on some clothes. Not that I'm naked. I'm just saying. So it's one of those things where having a roommate is not the easiest thing in the world. Can we agree on that one?
From what I've heard, yeah, no, it's not the easiest. I would not want a roommate.
During COVID, Connor would play Fortnite. And at 2 a.m, I would hear something say, or, Simon says jump, or Simon says duck, or whatever. And the ones who didn't pass it, they'd shoot him. Turns out he was playing with the other people in Fortnite.
Oh, yeah, that's how Simon Says it is.
Yeah, but at 2 in the morning, I'm trying to sleep.
Well, it's not my fault that I'm right next to you.
Well, that's called a roommate, you know. And the thing is, during COVID, we didn't have a lot of social interaction, so I was just happy he was doing something like that. You know, that's what I want. Keep his friendships going. That's so important to me. But you know, sometimes having a roommate's not the best thing. When I went to Somalia, I had 3 roommates in my tent, and there you don't you just sleep in the tent or you relax. You have to go shower somewhere else. You have to go to the bathroom somewhere else. You know, you have to walk to the bathroom. You know, Army's just a little different. You know, but being in the same room and having to go to the bathroom and sharing with someone, and I don't know if I'd be able to do that because I like to keep myself clean. And if your roommate doesn't clean, there's so many issues with roommate. That's what we're going to tackle today. You know, but I think now I'm thinking it's time to ask the burning question.
The fate of your dorm life. Today's question is related to our main topic of surviving and thriving with a college roommate. Here it is. What is the written document that outlines shared expectations for cleanliness, guests, and noise levels between roommates? Is the answer A, shared space etiquette? Could it be B, a roommate agreement? Or is it C, direct communication? Take some time to think about it, and we'll hear from the Murph Man what the flashpoint is.
All right. So we have a shared space etiquette, a roommate agreement, or direct communication. What do you think it is, Connor?
I think it's B, roommate agreement.
It is the roommate agreement. It's a proactive tool. Why is it proactive? Because you plan ahead for all the different problems that are going to happen, and you sign a contract with each other. And you do it when you first move in together, so you both know what the rules are. And trust me, it's much, much easier to live with someone once they have the rules. You know, make sure you don't skip that. That roommate agreement is so important. And I will tell you this: when I have people staying with me, right, whether it be my brothers or whoever, if I'm planning something, I'd like to know when someone's going to come visit, right? You know, my cousin, I love him to death, and I want him to come visit me, but I tell him, please call me before you come. He's like, why? I'm like, because I want to make sure the house looks good. You know, I want to make sure, you know, like right now, our living room is cluttered with the office gear Connor's putting together with our new studio that hopefully by January 1st, that'll be our new studio. We're gonna premiere it. We're going to show everybody everything it's all about. And but right now, there's no place to sit because we have boxes everywhere in the living room that we're putting together and everything. So, you know, I tell people, let me know when you're coming over so I can make some space for you. Now, could I be smart and have everything clean as I go? Yeah, but when we're working, we're putting stuff together. We're doing it between the times we have. We have like empty boxes everywhere. You know, we got to tear them down, put them in the box. So, you know. Yeah, I just ask people, let me know. That's not my roommate. But now, if I had a roommate, can I tell my roommate, you need to let me know when you're bringing guests over? Is that a fair thing?
Oh, yeah,
It is, right?
I would think so.
But it's their house too. They can bring over anybody whenever they want.
Well, that's where the roommate agreement comes in because you need to set like a perimeter or like a limit on who you could bring and what time they could come over and all that.
What time you can come over? That's something we're going to talk about definitely, because the time issue is a big deal. It's a very big deal. But I'll tell you what. How about we get to the core of today's episode and let's get to today's hot take, Hunter.
The Playbook for Peace. Today's hot take is, living with a stranger is a rite of passage. It's a crash course in communication, compromise, and conflict resolution. And the key to success is setting clear expectations from day one. If that is not a hot take, I don't know what is. Right, Murph Man?
That's right. You know, it's living with a stranger's rite of passage. That's something you have to get used to.
What is the rite of passage?
It is a process you have to go through to become something. So, for example, you have to go through high school. That's something every teenager has to do, right? But did you know in states like Puerto Rico, you don't have to go after the 10th grade? And then other countries like Nicaragua, Honduras, you don't have to go after the 6th grade
Why so early?
because the ones who are educated have to pay for it after that. Middle school and high school, you have to pay for it. In Juarez, in Mexico, free high school until the 8th grade. And then high school, you have to pay for.
A little stupid.
Well, the government doesn't have the money to be paying for that.
Well, but I don't think the kids would have money to pay for higher grades.
So you've heard of the disparity between the rich and the poor.
Yes.
And they say the poor are uneducated. You've heard that phrase. Because only the rich can afford to get educated.
Yes.
So that's why we have financial aid.
Well, do they have financial aid? Yeah, right.
No, I said we have. They don't have financial aid.
Okay, that's what was
So
about them.
we give everyone the chance to go to college using financial aid. Okay, that's what levels the playing field in our country. That's one reason we're so great here. You know, we have the ability to go to college and have it paid for if you're low income. And if you're higher income and you don't qualify for it, you still get a little bit of benefit, you know, to some extent. Because did you know the minimum loan they can give you is $5,500, right? That's the minimum. So even if I make $10 billion a year, if I apply for financial aid and get a loan, I get $5,500. That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah,
You know,
I would say so.
but obviously I wouldn't need it if I had that kind of money. But for those people who don't have any money and don't have any educational benefits like yourself, you know, who has a Henson Hazelwood Act, the VA paying for stuff, you know, it still didn't cover everything, right? Do you remember how much money we had to pay?
How much?
No, I'm asking, do you remember?
No, that's what I'm saying.
We had to pay $1,400 plus extra books and stuff that you've had to have, right? Your books sales were $500. We ended up paying close to $2,500, $3,000 for your semester of college. Okay, and that's not so much out of our pocket because you got financial aid and scholarships. So that's what you paid with. It wasn't like I paid out of my pocket, right? But yeah, it's one of those things. Financial aid and FAFSA is so important. So make sure you get your FAFSA in. Is what I'm getting at. Even if you think you're not going to qualify, still do a FAFSA because you have to get your scholarships. You know, you have to get your schedule. You have to get all that done, taken care of. You also have to do the like in UTEP, you have the scholarship page where you fill out the application and you do your essay. And before you know it, you have an answer next summer, right? So there's so much to tackle today with the roommate agreements. I'll tell you what, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the roommate agreement and handbook and everything associated with roommates. All right?
Sounds good.
See you in a sec.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at MB Radio.
According to the VA's suicide data report, an average of 22 veterans die by suicide every single day. This figure is a sobering reality and a crisis that demands our immediate attention and compassion. We must recognize and address the fact that every 24 hours, 22 veterans are losing their lives to suicide. The war doesn't always end when our veterans come home. The invisible wounds they carry, wounds that are real and heavy, require continuous support. No veteran should have to carry this burden alone. Many veterans experience stress and disconnection as they navigate life after service. But there is hope, there is help, and you are not alone in this fight. there's a vibrant community ready to support you, offering friendship, understanding, and shared experiences. You served your country, now let us serve you. Don't fight the toughest battle in silence. Your mission now is to reach out. Dial 988, then press 1. Text them at 838255. The Veterans Crisis Line is available 24/7. Every day, we save lives. Your life is invaluable, and your service is honored. Let's work together to make 22-0 again. No veteran should face their struggles alone. Together, we can ensure every veteran finds the support and hope they deserve.
He gets help, but he still feels off. Sees an ad on the TV about a dog batting said, "This is a man's best friend." Whoa, so he goes one day and he picks it up. Never thought a dog could bring so much love and put a smile on his face. But he's finally found a saving grace. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free. Put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22-0 again.
Especially for veterans. The song Ryan Spencer has, Make 22-0 Again, touched me personally. And I want to share with everybody that you're not alone. Help is available 24/7, 365. You can dial 988 and press 1, or you can text at 838-255. And someone will be there to listen. So remember, you are not alone. You know, it's funny because I've been talking about doing this for a couple months, right? And now all of a sudden our group chat is blowing up with, hey, we should do something for suicide awareness. I'm like, I've been doing this for 2 months. You know, I even sent them the video and no one even looked at it. So I'm like, whatever. You know, we all do our own thing, right? That's what matters. You know, but before we go any further, we really need to sit here and look at what we're doing. And before we do that, we got to know what terms we're going to be using. Let's talk about our codes that we're going to lay down today.
Master the vocabulary of compromise. Before we dig in, let's clarify the 3 key terms we'll be using today. Roommate agreement, a written document outlining your shared expectations for everything from guests to cleanliness. Shared space etiquette. These are the unspoken rules of living together, like cleaning up your own messes, respecting privacy, and being mindful of shared items. Direct communication. This means addressing issues with your roommate respectfully and directly, not through passive-aggressive notes or complaining to your friends first. The coals are stoked. Tell us more about these terms, Murph Man.
All right, so the roommate agreement, right? A written document. Why do you want it written? Well, like that, you and your roommate can say, this is what we agreed to, remember? You can, but you also can say, you never told me that. It's right here, clause number 2, right? So that's one reason you want to make sure it's written, you guys. And it covers from everything from guest to cleanliness. You also want the shared space etiquette. You literally have 2 people in one room, right?
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah. And you have to be considerate of the other person. You know, you and I both like to scroll at the end of the night, you know, we're online and everything, right? How many times have you left the TV on and you fall asleep?
A lot.
A lot.
TV, phone, laptop, all the jets of it.
He doesn't pay the electricity bill. But Imagine having a roommate in the same room with you. Can you do all that stuff? No, right? You got to be a lot more considerate of your roommates. So that's why you have the share space etiquette. And then you have the direct communication, the means of addressing issues with your roommates respectfully, directly, though not through passive aggressive notes or complaining to your friends first. And I'll tell you what I mean by that, okay? When I have an issue with Connor, he has an issue with me, you can complain to your friends. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But when your friends come over and see me, they might already have an opinion about me, right? Based on what you're telling them about me. And if you're talking bad about me, they're not going to like me too much. So
Yeah.
if you don't tell me there's a problem, how can I know to change something? Does it make sense? That's one of my rules. And I talk about fair fighting rules with a spouse or partner is if I'm doing something that bothers you, tell me, because sometimes we don't realize we're doing things, right?
You need someone to tell you what you're doing wrong in order to fix it.
Right, like, right?
Yeah. I stopped doing
Yeah,
it.
you did, huh?
Now you got me doing it.
No, I just right now but my point is, you stopped it because I kept bringing it to your attention.
No.
Yes.
Well, no, I lie.
Yes.
Around you, I stopped. But I was doing it yesterday and for Mel and
Okay.
yeah.
All right. But it's just something you picked up, and I started doing it, right? That's why I told you I didn't want to start. But those three terms, the roommate agreement, shared space etiquette, and direct communication, are what we're going to be talking about today. But I think the best way to get any of this information out, Connor, is to hear a story that they can relate to personally. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think it's time for the story from the fire.
The single awful conversation. Sarah is a night owl who loves to study with her music on. Her roommate, Emily, has to be up at 6 a.m. for swim practice. Tension builds for weeks until Emily finally initiates a conversation. They agree on a quiet hours policy where Sarah uses headphones after 11 p.m. That single awkward conversation saved their living situation. She chose to be direct, and it worked. Is the direct approach always the best choice, Murph Man?
Always, always 100%. 100, like they say. 100%.
Who is they?
Whoever
'Cause
they
it's
is.
not nay.
Nay is no. Yeah. You tried. Hear ye, hear ye.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Who do you think you are, Kanye?
Oh, okay. No, that was better. Ours.
So, yeah, you want to be direct. You want to address the issue before it gets out of hand. I will tell you, I've been married for half my life, 25 years. I'm 56. Two different people. Right?
At the same time.
But two different people, 25 years, that's still a lot of time of having to live with someone. I'll tell you right now, if there's an issue and you wait to bring it up, you're just going to cause yourself so many more problems. So many more problems. Don't wait. And if you're bringing something up to somebody and they're not changing, then you got to take it up a level.
How do you take it up another level? I'm talking.
Well,
Fist fight?
well, you know what?
No, violence is never the answer.
Sometimes violence is the answer.
If they're being passive aggressive, yeah.
Well, when you ask someone to do something repeatedly and they just ignore you, when you're a roommate, you can't always move out because you have a contract with that person. You're stuck there. In the dorm, you might be able to talk to the RA and move, right? But maybe, not guaranteed. So instead of waiting to deal with stuff, address it when it's small and avoid it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
One of the things I always tell people that I go out with and I date or whatever is I'm going to be me, like it or not. That's who I am, right? If you don't like me the way I am, I'm not going to change for you because you probably won't be here in a couple years.
Oh,
Well, 'cause that's the thing, right? We start changing for people, then you break up, and then before you know it, whatever. But yeah, it's one of those things where you really need to be aware of what the other person is feeling. Talking to them is so important. And I know fist fighting, violence is not the way, but sometimes it leads to that. And Connor can tell you a story that he was in the dorm the other day. And what happened?
um, so I was with my friends studying after school, right? We want to go get panda first, and then like want to go relax. And as we're studying, though, like the walls in the dorm are like very, very like thin. You could hear everything. I mean, they're not that thin, but like if you scream loud enough, you could hear it, you know. So we're chilling, and then we hear a woman scream, and we're like, "What was that?" And we go outside to see if it was someone in the hallway or like in the laundry room down the hall, and we hear this lady just like yelling from her room. We don't know about what. She was just like on the phone and she was screaming like, holy. I was terrified because it sounded like it was right next to us.
Was she getting attacked?
No,
Or just
she was on a phone call, like yelling at someone on the phone. We don't know who it was. I mean, obviously, but it was just like we could tell it was a phone call because we hear
okay?
like drawers slamming. We hear like that's not fair. Meh, meh."
So the RA gets involved and goes talks to her and doesn't is not able to calm her down. So he has to call support from the police department.
Well, first he did calm her down because
Okay,
he talked to the roommates saying like what was happening, and then she
the
calmed
roommates
down.
were there.
Yeah, her roommates were there.
Okay, I didn't know that
That's why
part.
it wasn't her. Well, I told you. And then afterwards, like 10 minutes later or so, we hear it's like a pan hit the ground or something. And we hear glass break. And then, because remember the first time we had to go talk to the RA
Yeah, yeah,
saying
yeah.
like, second time the RA heard that by themselves. And that's when like the girl in the dorm was like making threats and like wanted to kill herself and just stressed. That's when the RA had to call the police and UTEP to go take her away in handcuffs and take her to the
Well,
hospital.
for them to come and intervene, they weren't expecting that she'd get arrested or detained or whatever.
Well, if she's being hostile, then yeah, handcuffs. That's what I knew. I knew that was gonna happen. I was like, she's being hostile. She's throwing stuff at roommates, so gonna get like put in handcuffs, no matter the issue. At least like
Well, she didn't go to jail. They took her to the hospital. So hopefully she's doing okay. I've never asked. Have you heard about anything?
I did hear about it.
What'd you hear?
Um, Later on, the girl had to apologize like everybody on the floor because it was like interrupting everyone at like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and she was just like, "I'm sorry for the way I acted. Like it was just like in a weird, like in a bad place." Everybody was like, "We're okay. We understand.
Okay.
Totally, totally understand."
Well, I mean, people lose it every now and then.
But now she's moving into another building from like in the same dorm by herself. Doesn't have any.
That is probably a good idea. But one of my concerns is someone going to be keeping an eye on her. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they couldn't tell us anything,
Oh,
obviously.
of course not. But
But I mean,
it's a question.
I would think so. I would hope so.
You know,
I mean, at least she was like better when she talked to our friend.
was she
From what we heard, yeah, she was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry if you heard it down the hall. I was
having a bad day? I have bad days every now and then. I get angry and stuff.
not that angry.
I wouldn't say that.
Not that angry. I'm just telling you that right now.
Okay.
It was the angry that was like our uncle and his wife. She broke in by St. Pius duplex, broke the window.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that. He's not one of my brothers. It's like someone we call uncle. You always have those
It's a
friends.
family friend. Yeah.
Yeah, but I forgot about that. Yeah, and they're still together. That's like and that's something I knew. But that's I'm not a proponent of violence, right? But I can get angry, and I can get very angry, and I've been doing better than I used to, but it happens once in a while. I'm not going to go and hurt myself. We talked about this very clear. That's not something I want to do. But I have my issues, and every now and then my PTSD kicks in a little bit, and I get angry and just frustrated, and you lose a little bit of control. You know, um, yeah, that'd be interesting.
What?
No,
To
it's
have a roommate that
no, no, no. I'm talking about
that would be interesting though.
my brain just went somewhere else. But I was like, because there's a new therapist in town, and I don't know if she's a therapist, but she's a PhD, and she sings, and she invites people to come to her studio and sing with her, and work their stress out. It's really cool.
So like a vocal therapist.
I don't know the details. That's why I said I wonder if I could get her on to tell us what she does, because that'd be pretty cool.
A therapist that gets people to sing.
Well, again, I don't know what they're doing.
Well, but like from what you've heard.
Yeah.
I mean, singing is a out of it.
Maybe on the break I'll ask you to look it up so you can see it. And we
Okay,
can
I'll
talk
look it
about
up right now. I like have the tab open.
But yeah, she has a very interesting approach to dealing with people, and I like that about her. And I actually want to go meet her, only because like I'm curious what she's doing and how she's doing it.
You want to be in the studio singing?
No, I don't want to be a patient. I'm curious about her program and how it works. Because I've been doing psychology now since I was 19 years old, Connor. Do you realize that is almost like 35, 36 years of my life? So it's rare that I can say something new comes up that gets my interest. Does it make sense? So the world's ever changing, evolving, you know. Um, what's interesting is like they have therapy online, they have online telehealth. We talked about that. It's funny because being online. Okay, hold on, let me share a story here real quick.
Yeah.
Not so much online, but I used to work with some seriously mentally ill people in the community, right? There's this one guy, he was HIV positive, he was a drug addict, he was suicidal, he would try to take his life. It was a horrible situation, right? And one day he calls me and he tells me, I'm going to kill myself. And he would do this when he ran out of groceries or ran out of money, he had nothing to pay for. So he'd go to the hospital and they'd feed him, and he knew how the system worked. But I didn't really take this threat seriously. But you always ask, how do you plan on doing it? He goes, I have some bug bombs, and I'm planning on opening them in the apartment and inhaling all the fumes. Well, someone can always think about suicide. That's one thing.
Have a plan for
To have a
it?
plan,
Jeez.
that's the next step. And I knew he was just weird enough or serious enough to do it. So I said, if you hang up with me, I'm calling 911. And he hung up with me. So I call 911, and I get to his apartment, and it's surrounded by police and fire trucks because he called 911 and said, I have a bomb and I'm going to kill myself.
Oh.
And I'm not laughing at him trying to kill, but I'm like, they were evacuating the apartment building. So I get there, dun, da, da, right? And I go, who's in charge? I go straight to the commander of the scene. I walk straight to the guy's door. There's cops outside trying to talk to him. And I said, I identified who I was. And I said, I know the guy. He called me. I'm the one that called 911. Can you give me a sec to try to get him out the door? So I knock on the door, and the guy's like, uh-oh. That's all the police heard. And the police were like, we've been out here trying to get it. We were about to like break the door down. You walk up, knock on the door, say it's you, and he opens the door and freaks out. Who are you? I'm like, I'm just the guy he cares about. And but yeah, uh, it's not a funny situation. It's not at all, you know. But he went to the hospital. He got his help, and I eventually helped him move out of El Paso. And last I heard, he had passed away, an OD.
Oh,
You know, but
like suicidal OD or just like,
no, he just was a drug addict and he OD'd.
oh God.
You know, but hearing stories from him, because I could ask him stuff, he let me know a lot about mental health. I learned a lot from him, you know, and it made me a really better therapist in the long run. So that was pretty cool, you know. Uh, but I digress. Let's get back to the show. I still remember his name and everything. I'm not gonna say it, but
Well, I
yeah,
mean, it's a story from the fire, so it's like,
it's still sort of related, right?
yeah, we got to learn from real experiences.
Well, let me tell you, one of the segments that, we'll talk. We're going to start in just a second, but one of the segments we have here is called the heat map. It is the directions to get to where you're going, right? So it's a map, and with that in mind, let's get to some of those actionable steps that we can take in today's segment called the heat map.
Don't wait for a problem. Here is the heat map for roommate harmony. Complete that roommate agreement together within the first week. Don't wait for a problem to force the conversation. Address small issues before they become big ones. A simple, "Hey, could you help take out the trash?" is better than letting 3 days of stench build up. Use I statements to express your needs. "I feel stressed when the room is messy" is much better than "you're a slob." It focuses on your feeling, not their fault. So we heard the heat map. Now give us some directions, Murphman.
Well, we've already been talking about the roommate agreement. Do it as soon as you can, right?
Mhm.
We've already talked about addressing issues as soon as you can.
The sooner the better. Is what I like to say. Well,
Okay.
everybody likes to say.
But let me tell you a little bit about the I statement. I learned this a long time ago in counseling. When you're angry with someone, it's really easy to say, "You're a slob." And I'm not saying you're a slob, but that's what the example was. You're a slob versus, "I can't live with someone who's this dirty." Okay. So not only this, but in any situation you have a conflict with, here's a phrase. I don't know if you remember this or not. I'm just wondering. Don't point fingers at people because there's three pointing back at you. Yeah, everyone's going to.
Hmm. I forgot about that. Yeah.
You want to accuse someone of doing something, ask yourself, what have I done to either let this continue and not stop it? You know what I mean? Or am I making it worse? Those are my three things that I use. So instead of going you, I start off with I. And then you say a feeling or a belief. I think, I feel, I believe. I think this is not working out. Right? I had a girlfriend tell me one time, she's, "I want you to do more." And I'm like, you know what? I'm already doing as much as I can. I don't think I can do more. And I don't think it's going to work out. And I broke up with her. Just like that. Like,
Yeesh. And how long were you dating her?
9 months or 7 months.
You just broke it off like that? Because you
Not that quickly, but yeah, pretty much. Because I was like, I'm already trying a lot. And I was like, you want more? I don't got more. And obviously I can't meet your needs and I need to change. I didn't go, well, you're stupid because, no. I said, I don't think I'm the right person for you. I broke it up with her.
Wow.
That's the one we would go to Las Cruces with not the one with the daughters, a single one. My pollito.
Yeah, we wouldn't go because her kids were like old. She
What?
had kids.
Yeah, she had kids, but I'm not talking about the one who had two daughters. I'm talking
Yeah, I
about,
know.
okay.
I'm talking about the like two brothers and sisters.
Yes.
They just
And
wouldn't go with us because they were like 20 something.
yeah, and there was nothing wrong with her. It wasn't like that, but I was like, okay, I can't give you more, and this is not going to work out because I'm already doing more, and it's not enough. So Am I supposed to sit here and be, let me try to do more? That's not going to happen. Why should I stick around?
I've been
You know.
telling you to get away from her.
Well, yeah.
I didn't like her.
She wasn't a bad person. She was just
Annoying.
in a good way annoying, but it annoyed me.
No, she was annoying.
Okay.
She'd be cute sometimes, but at the same time, she could just be like,
Yeah, she tried a little too hard. But what about this last girlfriend I had? The one I broke up with because, yeah, I let that go way too long, right? I should have broken up with her 2 months after we were together, and I stayed with her a year and a half.
yeah, like you think?
I tried. I tried.
He did try. He really
And
tried. I could tell he was stressed.
yeah, and you know, I addressed the issue, and I thought it was fixed, and it wasn't. And I only saw her like once every, 2 times, 3 times a month, so it wasn't a big deal. You know, she lived in Juarez. I didn't get to see her too often. You know.
Yeah, thank God you didn't date someone from Juarez.
Well, yeah, it wasn't anything serious. At some point, I wasn't going to marry her or anything. We were going to get into business together because it was a good deal. But yeah,
The
but
business was like what, flowers?
the flowers in the dance hall.
Dance hall.
I'm going to be the DJ, DJ Murphy.
That's a ring.
No, my favorite thing would be if I do my internet radio station, which I'm looking at, it'd be the DJ 8E.
Why E?
Say it together.
J
8E. 80. I'd be playing 80s music.
DJ 8.
Yeah, I do too, but my DJ name, DJ 80. You don't like that?
No. Personally, no.
You know, but going back to all of this is I'm talking about what they're doing, what I didn't like about them, but I said I should have broken up with them. I should have stopped it. I was saying the I statements right now as we're talking about them.
Because of their issue.
Right.
You saw it, yet you didn't go through.
Right. But I wasn't saying she was crazy, she was stupid, I said
you were saying it in a nicer way.
I was talking about, but I use I statements. This is my point. I'm using the example we're talking about.
Well, but still.
Even when I wasn't happy, I still use I statements. So
yeah, I should have broken it off because she was a slob.
Yeah. Okay, but I think I waited too long. I felt stupid for waiting so long. Seeing it's I. Make sense?
Because of their dumb mistake.
All right. Because of their dumb mistake. See, start with you. Now, one thing, you can actually grab your shirt so you don't point fingers.
Oh.
If you're one of those people that points fingers, grab your shirt, grab something.
Wasn't there pointing at you still now? Tips, technically.
Well, but you're not, right? This is so threatening, right? If I'm like this and I'm angry, or I have my hand down here, grabbing my bottom of my shirt or whatever, it doesn't sound as aggressive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And even when I'm angry at you, I'll say, I am tired of this. I don't insult you. Do I? Like, I insult your behavior that's bothering me. No. I could say, let me think of an example here. I could say, you're so stupid. That's insulting you. I could say, you make some bad decisions. That's not attacking you. That's attacking your actions.
But it's coming from me, though.
Well, it's still against you. I get that.
You're still attacking me, technically, yes.
But there's a difference between you versus your behavior. Because I can still love you, but hate your behavior. Does that make sense?
So what about, like, family friends? They have issues.
What do you mean? No, I don't mean what's family friend, but like, what do you mean by that question?
Well, like, you could still love me, but you hate my behavior. Still like them?
Oh, I like them as a person. I don't like what they're doing. Yeah, definitely. I don't have to like.
You still see them like family, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also don't have to have poison in my life. Right. And, one thing they talk about is kids who disown their parents. Like, they don't want anything to do with their parents. Right. what about parents who do something to their kids? There's a movie with Denzel Washington, Denzel Washington. I don't know what movie it is, but he talks about he has a kid, and he tells the kid, "I'm not here to like you. I don't have to like you. You're my son, but I don't have to like you. There's nothing that says I have to like you. I love you, but I don't have to like what you're doing." You know, and that's so true. I can care about someone and still not like to be around them. You know, on the contrary, like my son and my nieces, I would go to the ends of the earth for any of them. I think you know that they know that. You know, I love them to death, and it's really interesting because I would do anything for them if within my brain. If I can do something, I'm going to do something, right? And it's just one of those things. But liking the person versus not liking the behavior, two different things. I can like hanging around with somebody, but I don't like what they're doing. I don't have to agree with what they're doing. If they're doing drugs, I still like them, but I don't like them doing drugs. Make sense? Right. So that's when you have a roommate, you use the I statements and you say things like, I don't like living like this. I don't like worrying that there's bugs all over the room, or whatever the case may be. Or I saw a roach today and it freaked me out because I don't like roaches. Right?
Yeah.
I. Don't forget that. Okay? But I would like to take a break right now.
Okay.
What do you think, Connor? Do you think it's time for a break?
Yeah, a little 5-minute break maybe.
Yeah, let's go ahead and play a music video here for you. So we'll be back after the break.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at MB Radio.
Take a minute, take a moment, take your time, let it set right. Let it drive right down in your conscious tide. Lean into the better times. 'Cause in a minute, in a moment, you'll notice a shining light, one that draws you in from deep inside. Reach out and connect tonight.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard.
Right?
Yep.
And you can watch all our streaming stuff. Like today, we have the Kaleidoscope Art Market on stream915.com on the platform. And you will see yours truly interviewing other people at the Krampus Fest. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun, I think. All right. Well, we talked about the heat map, the actionable steps we can take, and one of them was the I statement that we've been talking about, right? But let's talk about where you might get burned, because we can have all the steps, all the definitions. We know what we're talking about. We know what we got to do, but where can we go wrong? We call those the pitfalls, and we do that in where you'll get burned.
The price of passive aggression. A few critical pitfalls to avoid. Don't let small annoyances build up into deep resentment. Speak up early and kindly. Don't complain to your friends or your RA before you've talked to your roommate. Go direct first, always. Don't make assumptions about your roommate's habits or intentions. Just ask questions like, why do you leave the light on when you sleep? Hey, Connor, do you know what assume means? When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Right, Murph man?
Yes, don't assume. Spell the word.
I know
Right.
how to spell assume. I got the jokes. Man.
You don't want to assume, okay? You want to be able to stop those small annoyances from building up and getting deep resentment. Speak up early and kindly. Also, don't complain to your friends about or your RA. You want to do this first, okay? You want to ask for help. And of course, don't make assumptions about why certain things are happening. Okay? It's so interesting because you have a roommate that you have to live with the entire semester or longer. And what ends up happening is they don't get to know what they're being bothered by. So it's one of those things that you got to be real careful with so that we can help them out and deal with the problem before it becomes a really, really big deal. Okay. So it's one of those things that people don't do. They wait till last minute. They build the resentment. They complain to everybody except the actual roommate themselves, and they make assumptions about people's behaviors. One thing I have to have the TV on when I fall asleep.
Yeah, I need some background noise. That's why I like living in the city, like where we live right now. It's close to everything.
Yeah, but it's also really cool when we have no sound, like when we're in the forest and camping and stuff.
Sometimes it's scary, but sometimes.
Who brought the bear? You remember that story? But yeah, it's interesting because I have to have noise on. So when I'm with someone and I'm spending the night with them, I'm like, hey, can we turn the TV on? Or I'm there scrolling on my phone and they're trying to go to bed and I lower the light, and try not to wake them. Or like I wake up in the middle of the night, I got to turn the TV on, got to make some noise again to fall asleep. So one thing I would do when I started this podcast, and I know Connor remembers this, is I used to talk to Gemini to get my ideas out of my head.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't want to talk to him about AI or about any of this, so he made a whole account and had a whole conversation with Google Gemini.
Hold on, give me a sec.
And it was like when he wants to add something to the podcast or something, like, he made the whole Gemini, like, call him by Murphman. Like, it was like talking to him about like podcast ideas, like what we could do for the sections, yada yada yada. Like, it was his own like assistant.
Well, let's take a break from the show real quick. Not a break, but let's talk about sleep hygiene. I've talked about this before.
Hygiene?
Yeah. When you have trouble falling asleep, What do you think is keeping you awake?
He,
All right, so you want to make sure the room is cool enough but not too cold. So that's one of the things you can do. On the contrary, you also want to make sure you're warm enough when it's really cold, right? So you want to make sure you have blankets. Either you're too hot or too cold. That's the first thing. Second thing is clothing that's restrictive. I hate having clothes on when I'm sleeping because if I toss and turn, my shirt gets pulled over here, it wakes me up. That's why I sleep in my underwear. Even in the coldest temperature, I'm still sleeping in my underwear, right? I got some good blankets. You know, what's another reason you can't fall asleep?
that's it. It's because I always have to pull my blanket up because I toss and turn, so I pull the whole blanket to the side of the bed. I got it fixed right now, but I have it to where I could fit on the bed still. But yet in the morning, I toss and turn and I tuck it over and I wake up in the cold. But I don't think there's any other um reason
Okay.
why. I mean, like stress and all that, but nothing for
Well,
sleep hygiene.
we're going to talk about stress in a little bit, but one thing is you're not training yourself for your bed to be a place to sleep. You watch TV in it, you listen to the radio, you do your homework sometimes on the bed. You know, you have your desk and everything, but sometimes you go to bed, lay down, and start working on it, watching TV, playing with your phone, Xbox, whatever, right? So, being that's in your bedroom, you don't have the routine of going to your bed to fall asleep. Usually, when I go to bed, I'm almost asleep right away, right? I don't go to bed until I'm tired enough to fall asleep, right? If I'm in bed and I'm not sleepy, I get up, and you've seen me do this. I'll get up and I'll go work a little bit. But you talked about stress. If you have a lot of things in your head, you have to get them out of your head. And the easiest way to do that is to journal, right? You can write them down, record your voice, talk to someone, just get those thoughts out of your head. And then you can do more. Okay. Well, think about that, okay? If when I was starting the podcast, it was very stressful for me. I was trying to work on it constantly. And I think I probably went a little too far. But I'd fall asleep and I'd be like, oh, I have an idea. So what I did was I said, Gemini, I want to talk about doing a podcast. And I asked it questions, and what it does is it actually documents everything for me, and it was able to get I was able to get all my thoughts out of my head and not be stressed. So it will be there tomorrow. Like you can write something and the next morning you're like, God, what was I trying to write? Right? But it's recording, not recording my voice, but it's recording my text. And it does a real good job of it. So I was able to get some rest, even though I was obsessing about stuff. So if you have too much stress, get it out of your head. Also, don't eat too late. Don't drink caffeine too late. That'll keep you up. With you and me, we tend to take caffeine. It calms us down because we're a little bit ADHD-ish.
Get tired.
Okay.
Monster.
Right. Yeah, it has the opposite effect of us. It stimulates us. It's overstimulation to where our brain calms down. So that's how we take monster drinks. We don't take it for energy. We take it to chill.
I take it for the flavor.
Well, but I'm saying the caffeine.
Yeah.
And so that sleep hygiene is very important when you have a roommate. What do you think is more important, going to bed at the same time or waking up at the same time?
For what?
Just in which
Like
one's more important?
roommates?
No, just in general. Do you think it's more important going to bed at the same time or waking up at the same time?
Like with roommates.
No, just in
What
general.
do you mean same time then?
What's more important as a routine, to go to bed at the same time every night
Okay.
or to wake up at the same time every day?
Wake up same time.
Okay. What if you're an early riser and your roommate is not?
Wake up early.
But then I'm making noise and wake them up.
Okay, too bad.
But what if they're asleep early and I'm a late person, like Sarah?
That's why you gotta set boundaries. Like if you wake up early, you have to be quiet in the room, right? And like try
Uh-huh.
to, but same time when you go into bed, you gotta be considerate, try to be quiet when they're trying to sleep.
When Connor comes home late at night and I'm asleep, I have my door open and he passes the hallway, right? He does this thing where he walks so slowly. You want to explain it?
Explain it. I wanna
I'm
hear.
asleep.
Well, sometimes, most of the time.
But he's like, try not to wake. And that wakes me up because it's not normal. If he would have just walk in like nothing, like last night, you didn't do that, did you?
Oh, I still did.
You still did as much as you normally do, or because I heard you come in, you woke me up, and I listened,
I
and
went to the kitchen for a snack.
he's taking a small and slow step so he doesn't wake me, and I'm just like waiting for him to get there.
Yeah, and then he jump scares me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like,
Sometimes I fall back to sleep right away. Sometimes I don't. But I'm not gonna blame him for that.
I would hope not.
Well, waking me up at 2 in the morning, that is your fault.
Well, that's why I try to be considerate
Uh,
and trying to be quiet.
Right. That's my point. I'm not gonna blame you if I wake up because you're making an effort. Aside from sleeping in the car in the living room, so you don't bother me. Right?
I will do that.
Don't. Thing.
That's why.
Your mom, when she'd go with her friends, she liked to drink and get drunk every now and then, right? So she got with her friends and she would get totally blasted. And she'd come home and she has her makeup on, right? She has her clothes. She has to hang it up, put it in the closet. She has to open the closet door. Like, just so annoying, right? The bathroom, she'd go and she'd close the door, right? To use the bathroom, which is great. But the sink is outside of the bathroom, so it was in our bedroom. So if she needed light, she'd turn it on.
Okay.
So she would sit there with her makeup wipes and wipe it off. And she would try to do it slowly. Like wiping her eyes slowly was gonna wake me up if it's too fast. You know what I mean? But she was also drunk. So she thinks she's being quiet when she's making all the noise in the world. You know. And I appreciate her being considerate. I do appreciate, but that actually makes it worse to me because then I'm like, turn the light on. Just get over here, walk past me, go. Just put your stuff in the closet and go. Not, you know.
Okay, well, it's because my room like is at the end of the
I'm talking about your
hall.
mom. I'm
Well,
not.
I know, but like on why I do it. Like, you want me if I do it, the door because my room is at the end of the hall, and
You got to pass my room to get to it. Yes.
well, yes, but it's also the most pressured. Also,
Well, it's warped a little bit. Yeah.
yeah. So if I try opening the door just like that, it's gonna gust the wind, woof, and make that like
Yeah.
noise. That's why I try being quiet because sometimes it doesn't do that. Same thing with the front door. It's squeaky. It's old.
You're not going to be able to stop stuff like that. That's why I say it's there already.
Yeah.
Now, if I think someone's breaking in, they're going to be doing what you're doing. Quiet. You know. Yeah, that doesn't happen. When I was in Somalia, living in the tent with 4 guys, there's literally gunfire outside my tent. Like right outside the embassy. There's a helicopter blowing up a building over here. It was just like I was in the middle of all this drama. I slept like a baby because that's I was okay with noise. When you were a baby, this whole thing about shh, don't you don't wake the baby. No, hell no, wake the baby up. Like that, he'll be more sleepy during the nighttime. And he got used to noises, right? So
I did get used to it. Every time at school, my friends would be like, "How do you sleep in class?" Or like, "How do you like sleep like with people?" I'm like,
he falls asleep in the living room. He'll be on his phone, and he falls asleep. And I don't care if I wake him up. That's his fault for sleeping in the living room, right? But what's my run rule if someone's sleeping like that?
"What though?"
Let them sleep. If I'm all crooked, my glasses are all messed up or whatever, I don't touch you because you're sleeping. Obviously, you were tired. you break the glasses, we'll replace them, or we can fix them and rebend them, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But you're sleeping. I'm not going to wake you. And then the other thing is, how do you wake me up if you have to wake me up?
I call you.
You call my name, right?
Oh,
And
no, I call you. As in, like, I would call you
the phone.
or text you. Yeah,
Okay.
because you're, like, responding to that
That's yeah.
sometimes.
That-
Sometimes I'd be like, wake up.
And do I startle awake? No, right?
Once in a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, oof, gotta be.
Yeah.
I'm like, my bad, but you need to go.
Well,
You have an appointment. I'd be like,
you know, what was it, Friday morning? I said, I'm not going to go to work. Don't wake me up. Oh, you have no school. I said, okay, so I don't have to worry about you.
yeah.
Right. I don't worry about it. If he's not waking up for his whatever he has to do, I never wake him up because he has to be an adult and take care of himself and have the consequences. You know. But yeah, so when we talk about sleep hygiene and you have a roommate, you really have to figure out what each of you need so you can sleep better. Like literally, I have to be on my phone before I fall asleep. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about that. So I have to find a friend or a roommate that does the same thing I do.
That is true.
Like that, we can both be on the phone or whatever. We won't talk to each other. That's another thing. Don't talk to each other. Ignore the people in the room while you're trying to fall asleep. Right? Right here.
Like, gotta get out the way.
Yeah, you start a conversation at night, and Connor does this when he comes in at 2 in the morning. I'll ask him how did it go. If there's a story he starts telling me, I'm like,
Well, it's because you asked how my night went, so I'm telling you how my night went.
no. What I'm saying is like I'm trying not to get too awake, so I'm just like I'm listening, and right. I'm listening, and sometimes you tell me stuff. I'm like, really? What happened? But other times I'm like, and I have to turn away from him. If I turn to look at him,
You're just gonna see a figure.
well, I'm engaged, and I'm listening now, actively listening, and I'm not going to go back to sleep. So there's some things I have to do, and that's what I've learned having to live with so many people over my lifetime. Like your mom coming in, getting ready to go. It's so funny, dude. Her friends would actually call me and say, "Hey, we're dropping her off." Okay, make sure she comes inside, and then she comes in. She's walking down the hallway, trying to take little steps like you do. And it's like, just get over here and get it. Like that's just so much longer. It prolongs it, right? So the sleep hygiene is something that you have to figure out with your roommate. It sounds so stupid. The hygiene schedule. If I go into the bathroom, right before I go to work, I'm at work at 7 in the morning. He doesn't have to be at school until 9:30. So I can go into the bathroom, shower, wash my face, brush my teeth, whatever I'm going to do, long before he gets up, right? But this is something we haven't discussed, and I'm not trying to be gross or anything, but if I know it's close to time for you getting up, I do my best not to go to the bathroom because you have to go in there after me, right?
Yeah. Well, no, but yeah.
What do you know?
You have your own bathroom.
But when we get ready in the same bathroom, is my point.
You get rid of the same bathroom? Oh, I thought you meant with mom at the old
No,
house.
no.
I was like, we have. Well, yeah, because everything's there. But I mean, I
Right.
could go to the other room. I don't mind. I
Right.
don't
But
care.
I'm saying I don't go into the bathroom to use it right before you wake up.
Yeah, because you're at work. Yeah.
No, because if I have to go to the bathroom,
Well,
I
then
go to the
go,
other one.
but then I just
Yeah.
leave.
So, but as a roommate, your sink, if you have to share a sink, you have to keep it clean for each other, right? You have to know whose equipment is what. Don't be using my razor. Don't be using my hairbrush, shampoos, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the kinds of things you have to look at. Okay. You also want to make sure that you discuss your morning routine because if you both have to be up at the same time, how do you do it? How fast do we shower?
10, 15.
Yeah. If I'm in a rush, in and out, right?
For me, it still takes.
Yeah. But I tell him, let me know when you're done, and then I'll jump in the shower after you. And then I go from shower to get ready within a few minutes. Or sometimes I'll shower and be ready, and then he takes all his time in the world, shaving and bring cologne, right? I don't want to go in the bathroom after that, so I go before you.
Like you go, because I'm gonna take one.
And those are the kind of deals you have to make with your partner or roommate. You know, we don't think of that kind of stuff, do we, Connor?
No, happens.
But those are things that we do, and you don't even realize that I've made an agreement with you on that.
No, I realized it.
You do?
We talked about it before. So like we talk about like restroom and all that. And, like when we go home late at night, we'd be like, "Have to use the restroom." I'm like, "Yeah, but you can go first, whatever."
Oh, right. And that's why always have two restrooms in your house. I'm telling you right now, that's the best thing you can ever have is two restrooms. And if you have a spouse and a kid, three restrooms. I'm telling you, you want to have that. Anyway, back to what we're talking about here, and we talk about where you're going to get burned. You know, don't let small noises build up. Don't complain to other people. Talk to the people you have a problem with, and you don't assume, right? Because you never know why people do certain things. But you don't have to go alone. You know, in our next segment called Heat Shields, we'll provide you with some of the helpful protective resources that will prevent you from falling into those pitfalls. Here is our Heat Shields for today.
Mediation is not weakness. Here are your 3 heat shields. Your resident advisor, RA, is a trained mediator. Use them if you need a neutral third party to help guide a conversation. Your school's residential life office often provides roommate agreement templates. Use their structure. And honestly, a good pair of noise-canceling headphones is a fantastic investment for peace of mind. Now wait until you hear Connor's story about the RA at his friend's dorm.
We talked about that.
We did.
Oh well.
But I was going to say, do you think that what I was going to say on this part was he's a trained mediator? Do you think he did a good job handling the situation, or she?
The RA?
Yeah. In your opinion, you don't live there, so you don't know. But
yeah, but from what I saw, yeah.
Right?
Kept it calm, talked to everyone.
What you don't realize from the other side of it is he wanted to make sure everybody was okay when it's called debriefing.
Oh yeah.
That's what I do.
Well, I mean, I get that. Not the first time.
You know, whenever we've had a bad situation, I go around and ask everybody how they're doing. Make sure everyone is okay.
That's why I do it part.
Okay. Well, that was where I was leading to. He goes to the club and there's a fight. He goes and he makes sure everyone's okay. He even goes and talks to the bouncers. Right? But it's funny because he tells me, yeah, we kicked someone out. What do you mean we? And he's like, oh, yeah, I helped. You know, Connor, a mediator without even realizing. He does things. He cares for people. He's a lovely kid. I know you're an adult now, but you get my point. He's a really, really good person. He worries about everybody. One thing he does do is go around and check on people when something happens. He's really good about that, right? You know, I think he would be a really good RA, just so you know. Also, you know, if you go to the residential life office or whatever it's called at your campus, where they have the housing department, they have templates for roommate agreements. Did you know that? People don't realize you can go there to get that.
Well, don't they give it to like? Well, yeah, don't they give it to every room, every dorm room? And like, you guys want to make rules?
I don't know. Do they? I have never lived in a dorm.
I don't. Well, me.
You would assume.
I would assume just be if you guys.
We just got to saying don't assume, right?
Yeah, you guys want like, from what I heard, I guess it was just like, if you want to make rules and all that, all you gotta do is just sign the form and give it to us, and we'll confirm it. But if anything, you don't have to.
And you make the RA aware of it so that when something does happen, they can say, "Nope, you knew the rules."
Yeah.
You know. But the most important thing.
But sometimes they forget. They forgot that dorm with the argument had an agreement.
Well, it doesn't always work, you know.
Well, I mean, it should. The RA
You would hope so. Well, you would hope so, but Now, one of the most important investments you can make in the dorm is buying noise canceling headphones.
Yeah, like that work.
It does.
I've had this before.
No. You haven't had strictly
like
noise
actual
canceling.
headphones.
Yeah, actual noise canceling headphones, not earbuds that have noise canceling with them. You want actual noise canceling because do you know how that actually works? Okay, you know sounds are waves, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so sound waves come in. The noise canceling actually sends out a reverse wave to it, so it cancels out the
Blocks it
sound.
out.
That's how it actually works. So you don't actually need to have earphones or earbuds or anything. It's just you need noise canceling headphones. One of the best investments you can get in dorm life, you know. So look at those three things, and that is definitely something you can do, right? Now, another thing you got to look at is what we call the afterburn or reflecting questions on today. Is the segment where we talk about what you have to ask yourself to make sure you understand everything. So let's get into that.
Define your non-negotiables now. Here are some questions for reflection. What are my top 3 living habit non-negotiables? For example, quiet after 10 p.m., clean dishes only. How can I be the kind of roommate I would want to have myself? What is our agreed-upon plan for handling disagreements when they come up? Anything else you can think of, Murph Man?
Exactly, you guys. Those 3 questions are so important because you don't understand that as you're doing things, right? You got to deal with it. So here's the thing. First one, what is your non-negotiables? If you had a roommate, what would be your one rule that you would be like, don't ever?
Don't put your stuff on the side of my side.
My space is my space. Don't touch my space, right? That's probably one of those that people don't understand how serious. Now, what if you're not there and I wanted to borrow your headphones? You know, can I do that
Borrow them, but you better charge them.
without your permission?
But you better ask me.
But,
That's what I'm saying.
but you're not there.
Then ask.
But you're not there.
Okay,
How am I supposed to ask you?
Text me.
But
You have
the
my
whole point
Insta.
is they're not asking you. That's the whole point.
Oh.
You're not there. They use your headphones without your permission. Is that going to bother you?
Don't break them.
Okay, so
I'm hoping they don't break them. If they
now,
do, then they pay me.
Now, what if they break them and they say, oh, they put them back where they found them, and then you put them on and they stop working, and you never find out they borrowed them? My thing is, if you can secure your personal belongings in some way, shape, or form, like a drawer with a lock on it or something.
Oh, yeah, no,
Drawers
with locks now.
Yeah, they do.
Not at the dorms.
You not the ones that are there. You buy them.
I buy a whole drawer with a lock for my stuff. I'd rather just have my stuff with.
See,
which I mean, I will.
But there's another issue that you're not thinking of. When your roommate brings friends over, they could steal your stuff, and your roommate doesn't even know what's happening.
And I blame him. He owes me.
Well,
so Ari's he brought people over that stole my stuff, and he owes me money.
If you catch it, you know.
I
So
probably will because I mean, it's the everyday thing. Headphones, that's the everyday thing.
But there's some things you'll have with you anyway. You know, but your space is your space. That's probably one of to me, the first thing you have to say, this is my part of the room and this is your part of the room. Don't bother my part of the room. At the same time, if your room is dirty, your part of the room is dirty.
And at least clean it up at the end of the week.
End of the week?
I'd give them a week. I'd give them time. I don't want to be super strict on it.
Okay,
so I know how I am. So I don't really mind it.
So if we're sharing a room in the hotel room, okay, this is a good example. This is a perfect example. Whenever we go out on trips, we take long, long trips. And like one time we went to Vegas for 12 days. Was it 10?
Vegas was 10.
12. We went to 10 different things. It was 12 days. One day traveling. We were there 10.
10, but yeah.
It was a 12-day
We
trip.
stayed in the hotel for 10.
And I ordered stuff from Walmart, so we can try to save a little money, eat some ramen in the room or whatever. But when you have a small space like that, and imagine a dorm room was smaller than a hotel room, but when you are cooking something, the room smells. If you're cooking something in the room, I don't, and some dorms don't allow it, but I'm just saying in general, you're cooking ramen and it stinks or something with kimchi or whatever the case may be. He can tell you there's an apartment complex that is by UTEP that it smells horrible, right?
I would cook something in this.
Okay. Imagine that being in your room. You know, you have to clean up after you do something. Don't let it sit there because it just leaves a smell there.
You see, if it's like food, like with liquid and all that, I'll throw it out. But if it's like fast food, like McDonald's or something that doesn't stink as much, then I'd be okay with that.
How many times have you got into the car and I didn't throw away a plate or
A lot.
a bag?
A bag,
Right.
napkins.
Okay. But with food in it, it happens once in a while.
It's only chips. That was a.
No, like if I'm eating Whataburger and I
No,
forget
but
to take it down,
I just
the car smells the next morning, right?
But I mean, I do the same.
What happens when you leave a gallon of milk in the car?
Uh,
We didn't. Anyway, the point being, the milk blew up and it sunk the car to high heaven. It was really, really, really hard to get out.
we get the mats out. We paid much money at the car
Car
wash
wash.
things,
We did.
like the sprayers.
Yeah,
Oh, that was terrible.
we tried everything, you guys. We really did try everything. You know, but so think of those non-negotiables, things that you will not tolerate. If it's don't bring guests over unless you give me, a notice, whatever the roommate agreement says. But when you're doing the agreement, ask yourself, what is the one thing that you will not stand? Right? Don't touch my stuff. Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves. You know that. I buy something, like I'll buy some beer and I have it in the fridge, and I tell Connor or my roommates or my friends or brothers, whatever, if I buy beer and I put it in the fridge, doesn't mean you can drink it. It's not for you, it's for me. So when I want to go get a beer, I can have it. Right? You with your sodas. When when the girls come over,
Well, they don't take it.
no, but they ask us, right? Can I get a soda? Right?
Yeah.
One rule: if you're gonna get something, don't take the last one, because until I can replace it, right? Don't ever take the last one of anything.
Or if you see the last one, put some more in. At least.
If we have some on the side, put them back in. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's that, So ask yourself what your non-negotiables are before you have a roommate. That's one of the most important things you can do.
But your other roommate, my family friend uncle, when he would drink Jack Daniels, like he would drink Jack Daniels and Coke.
Yeah.
Take some Coke from the fridge.
Right. Or I have one Gatorade left in there, and he takes it. Like, dude.
Yeah, my Gatorade, my Monsters.
Yeah.
I'm like,
right?
Come on.
That's my one non-negotiable. Don't touch my stuff.
My tequila, also. I won. I'm not drinking it, but I won a
costume contest.
Yeah, I costume contest, and the prize was what type was it?
Timador.
Yeah, something like just nice tequila, Obviously, I'm not alcoholic, but if I do drink, I would know my limit, I guess, which would almost just be like what, Seagrams, like wine coolers.
Oh, you drink tequila too.
Not as much as like.
But the point being is, you had a bottle of tequila, and he says, "Can I borrow some?" And he never replaced it.
Yeah, I said he could borrow some because he had a night out. I'm like, okay, you can take some because I'm not drinking it. So I'm like, go ahead.
Right.
But then almost the whole bottle was gone.
Yeah.
And then he gives me a bigger one and uses that one also.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not mad because I'm not gonna drink it. Like, no shit. But like, oh, sorry. But like, courtesy. I won it. Yeah.
Yeah. So one way or another, that problem's gonna be solved soon.
I hope.
But we talked about the tools, we talked about motivation and what causes us to change. And one thing I'm a big proponent of is using technology, right? So let's talk about our digital inferno and what we can use to make dorm room life easier.
Your best mediator is an app. The best way to manage shared space is by automating communication. Use a digital chore chart app like Our Home or CoreStars to keep tasks visible and assign accountability without nagging. Also, use shared calendars for guest or travel schedules. Technology should remove conflict, not create it. I wonder, whatever happened to a sock or hanger on the doorknob? Any ideas, Murph Man?
Do you know what I mean by that, Connor?
Yes, but what about it?
Well, why have a shared calendar if you're going to just have a sock on the doorknob?
Oh,
I'll probably talk about that after we come back from break.
yeah.
All right, we'll be back.
Complicates and shakes you, consumes all that makes you deep inside your bones. In a moment, choose the things you want and remember who you are and who you want to be. An anonymous dream came calling deep inside your soul. Let it came with love and splendor, everything you're
back from break. And before we head on to the show, I want to make sure you guys understand that you're watching us live Saturdays, 12 o'clock Eastern time here on Twitch and YouTube. But you can catch all the replays in our premium content on the platform, stream915.com. Go check us out. Check out the website, purehottakes.com, for some discount code and for our information on the shows. And in January, we're going to be doing some premium content that you're not going to be able to find out here. So we have a lot of things coming on, but all right, back to this. I asked you about the sock on the door. The joke, it's not a joke. It's people used to use it, but like when you have a girl over to the room and you don't want anyone in the room, you put a sock on the door or a hanger, a tie, or something that says, hey, don't come into my room. Do you think you really need that if you have a good roommate agreement?
Well, I mean, no, but just like a nice reminder, just in case they forget.
Okay. So is it fair for me if I have a girl at the room to tell you can't come in the room right now because I'm busy?
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
What if you're coming home, you're tired, you want to go to bed?
Well, me personally, I'd just be up anyways, so I'd stay in the living room or something.
Okay, but you're talking about the living room in the dorm or living room, like the main living room for everybody? Does the dorm have a room?
Same one, yes. It has a kitchen and living room and 2 bathrooms.
And separate rooms?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
The only thing shared is the bathroom, like the 2 bathrooms and, well, everything's shared, but like the dorms are with the 2 people.
Okay. So you do have separate rooms. Okay, so then that doesn't become an issue. But if you have the same room where you have to sleep in the same room, that's an issue.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? What?
Yes, everybody shares the same room.
Oh, everyone sleeps in the room, but okay.
Yes.
Do you think you should schedule the fun time on Google Calendar?
Oh, yeah.
Or could I?
At least let me know so I could either go out or eat or something.
Okay, exactly. So I could actually go into Google Calendar and say, hey, I'm busy right now. Just give me a heads up. I'll be done about 10 o'clock because that's what you schedule it, right? At 10 o'clock, I need to make sure I take it off to let you know it's the room's open again, right? But I can communicate that to you without having to text you or anything. I can just put it on the calendar and it's up to you to check the calendar, right? So technology, you guys, is the way of the future. Okay, is check out your things, keep a calendar, all right? You keep track of your communication is so important. When you're sharing events, having a calendar, okay? A chore chart. Do you think a chore chart is important?
Yeah. See who's gonna do what.
Right? And
or you all just do the same one, just take turns.
Right. Or you say you make sure you do this on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'll do it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then nothing on Sunday or whatever, right? So yeah, you want to be able to do that kind of stuff. All right. So if you need to use a calendar for that, go ahead. You can use a charts, Tour Stars, or some kind of app there. You can also go to Dollar Tree and buy an old-fashioned tour chart where you give stars when you're done, right? But I think the shared calendar is probably the most important thing that any student can use because it's a way that everyone can input information on there and figure out what it is, right? So let's look at that and think about technology. How else could technology help you with the roommate agreement?
Calling. I don't know.
What do you mean?
I answered your question.
Well, when you say calling, like, what does that mean?
You call them. Calling the only.
Oh, use the phone or text each other. Okay,
Yes.
all right. Um, you know, the calendar also has this thing called a to-do list or a task list, right?
I don't think everybody's gonna want to check a calendar on Google. That's why texting or calling would be better.
Right, but you need to have some place to reference it. That's what I'm saying.
Texting or calling.
Okay, but if you have a regular schedule and you put it on the paperwork on the calendar, that's important.
I guess.
Okay, because you want to have somewhere you can reference that too. Okay. You know what I used to do with your uncles when I was younger? We would have to like clean the house or something, right? My mom, I don't remember my mom ever telling us to clean the house. Okay. We had someone that would come and clean the house, but every now and then we would clean the house because she didn't have anybody. And I did a thing where we'd have a jar with all the chores or a bowl, and we would take the chores out, right? And let's say I got the bathroom and I didn't want to do the bathroom.
You switch it.
I would trade, but hold on. I'll give you the bathroom. Who wants the bathroom? But they'll say, oh, I'll give you the kitchen and the living room, right? Because things that it's in my day, we didn't have computers, we didn't have technology. We had to write it down on pieces of paper. Also, a calendar is very important because your friend might schedule something, you want to make sure you write it down. And I say write it down, and put it. I'm having a party Friday night. Okay. Is that me inviting you to the party or telling you not to come to the party?
I mean, I would think inviting.
You would assume. We just talked about this. You don't want to assume.
Yes,
You want to ask. When someone tells you stuff like that, you want to say, hey, I'm inviting you to this, or I'm letting you know that I'm having something. If you can find something else to do, right? Like Christmas break, your cousin's going to be in town. And I told Connor and my nieces, hey, get Connor out of the house for a few days. Right?
Yeah.
That's one of those things that you got to plan ahead for. You can't just show up and do it. But as we're doing this, think about it. Use technology, plan ahead, do all of that stuff. Okay. But your best mediator is the app. Why? Because you can write stuff down for each other. Okay. That's probably the most important thing you can think of there. Now, I will tell you this. It's almost the end of the show, but we're going to take one more break before we come back, and we'll talk about the final burn for today.
Hold on, things are dizzy, spinning rapidly. To miss another beat is such a tragedy. Now this moment feels like all eternity. It should feel so comfortable. It's all in the secrets of the open hearts. Love, tear it down. There is no need to scream and shout. When everything seems crazy, reflection now. A peace of mind should not include deception's help. It should feel so comfortable. All eyes stare into the scene, leaving bad taste in our memories. How can we all find change? It's all in the secrets of the open hearts. Oh,
back. Time for the final burn, Connor. What do you think about today's show? Do you think any of this helped you if you had to get a roommate?
No, because I mean, it's the same as you, honestly. So it's just like a routine for me at this point.
Okay.
But I mean, it helps with them.
Living with me, we have this routine already. We've been together 19 years. Obviously, you know my routine. You already know what I expect from you, right? That's part of it. But every now and then, I ask you to do something outside of the norm, right? Like, what can be something? The yard. Okay. One time you come into me like, hey, I want to do the yard. And I'm like, go for it, right? There's things you can do that are not on the tour list also. So stuff does come up. So how do you suggest roommates handle stuff that comes up last minute? You know what I mean?
That's for them.
Because things change. The rules are not set in stone, you guys. It's pliable. It's optional. You can change it. You don't have to stick to it 24/7. It's so important that you're able to make the changes as you progress. Because remember, we talked about doing the rule book early in the relationship, right?
Yeah.
But as you get to know each other, things change. Or like maybe your roommate has a lot of gas, and you're like, dude, you gotta change your diet, right? You know, because that does happen, right? Or they talk in their sleep.
Well, I don't mind that.
Well, you may not. You never had to really stay with someone who's all the time. A cut one night here, one night there is one thing.
I mean,
But living with someone who talks in their sleep.
I need noise, so it works. Technically, at that point.
Okay, you just whatever.
I'm
But
lenient. I mean, I'm not much of a strict person.
okay, but I'm talking about in general. You're not the only person I'm
Okay,
talking
well,
to.
but you're talking to me though right now, and
Yeah,
I'm trying to give you feedback.
right.
So I'm giving you feedback.
I'm talking generally, not about you.
Yeah, I know.
Do you think that people could benefit from changes in a roommate agreement? Because
Yes.
things change, right?
Yes.
You know, uh, how would you feel if your roommate did not tell you that they talking to sleep, or what if they don't know they're talking to sleep, or those rules are going to change. This pattern's going to change. Let's pretend this roommate that had the fight, the
Yes.
whatever,
Yes.
they moved her out, right?
Uh-huh.
So in the middle of the semester, this other person gets their own room. Yay! What would have happened if they would have brought someone else in? Like say they switched to roommates.
Well, they're going to.
Okay. What do you think needs to happen when that happens?
Don't know. Probably agree with the roommate agreement that's already in place.
Ooh, that's the point I'm making. Do you expect them to follow the rules from the other person?
Yes.
But what if they don't agree to it?
So then talk to him about it.
Negotiate. And let them know there's some things that you're non-negotiables. Everything else is negotiable. But don't touch my stuff. Don't, whatever those
Yes.
non-negotiables are.
Depends what the roommate says.
So also look at their situation. They're being kicked out of their situation to come live with you. So it's not going to be a really positive relationship for both of you to start off with, because you're both are being forced into something you don't want. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when you go to a college, you go to a dorm, and all of a sudden, hey, you got a new roommate. You're like, well, time out. When I lived in the barracks in the army, I was married, and I should not have been able to live in the barracks. But my wife wasn't with me, so I asked to be put in the barracks, and they let me stay, luckily. And the only room they had was on the female floor, and that really put a kink into stuff because they couldn't put a woman in my room, right? So every now and then they had to have a woman come in. I'd have to move all my stuff to someone else's room, but it was never the same person because they would move, they'd leave. So I was always having to go back and forth. Not always. It happened about 3 times in the 6 months I was there. Go for a couple weeks when someone's here visiting, for training or whatever, you know. And change is something that's going to happen no matter what. And just be aware of that and just move with the cheese, right? Change happens, right? But tonight's final burn is
partner in peace, not best friend. The final take from today's discussion is, your roommate doesn't have to be your best friend, but they do have to be your partner in peace. Talk it out before you throw down.
be proactive, not reactive, have a plan, and try to follow through with it, you guys. Now, I will tell you this. When you're thinking about a partner in peace, you don't have to be best friends with your roommate. You don't have to like your roommate, but you have to live together. So keep that in mind, you guys. And remember, be proactive, meaning plan ahead. Don't be reactive, so you can at least be prepared for what you're going to be doing. You know, sort of like when you take karate classes, you learn how to defend yourself. You hope you never have to use it, but if you ever get into that situation, you have the skills to defend yourself.
So that would still be reactive.
No, but you're being proactive because you actually took the classes to learn how to do it.
But you're also being reactive to
To
the
the
situation.
moment, yes, but
That-
you're proactive because you learned self-defense.
But you're still reactive at that moment.
Yes, Connor, but you planned
That's
for
what
it.
I'm saying. I'm
okay?
agreeing with you, Sean. I'm just adding on to it.
So be proactive, have a plan. I've talked about having a toolbox, having all those tools with you. And when you need the tool, it's there. All right, so keep all that in mind, you guys. And before we wrap up, I want to remind you again, we're here live every Saturday at 12 o'clock Eastern Time on Twitch and YouTube at Pure Hot Takes. You can go to purehottakes.com, check out all the other information we have available to you. And you can catch our replays and our premium content on the platform, stream915.com. Check us out there and look for the discount code at purehottakes.com. Well, I think that's the end of today's show, Connor. You know, thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful week. Anything else?
Stay safe. People drive crazy sometimes. It's the weekend. Don't party too hard.
Here's some advice that I haven't given you, okay? But I want you to hear it before you say anything. Don't drink and drive.
Obviously.
Don't drink and have sex.
Okay.
And don't have sex while driving. All three can lead to accidents.
Oh.
You're like,
That was a good one.
Parking leads to babies too, so be careful, okay?
Parking leads to babies?
Yeah, you go park somewhere.
Oh. Okay, that one did.
Right.
Last one.
Don't drink and drive, don't drink and have sex, and don't have sex while driving. All three can lead to an accident. Y'all have a good night. I am the Murph Man. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap on this episode. If you're looking for more, you can find all the best clips from the show on our social media pages. For all the links and more information about what we talked about today, visit purehottakes.com. And if you want to watch the full replay or get access to our premium content, subscribe now at stream915.com. We appreciate you tuning in.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.